Hello everyone, and no, this channel is not dead, but unfortunately Glee has ended, and this will probably be one of my very last videos on this channel because this is just my Glee channel, and since it's over, I don't know if I have much else to say. I will be doing my favorite songs from season 6 video very soon, but for now this is just a sort of recap on the past 6 years and a thank you to Glee, because without Glee I would have been a totally different person. I would have not been the person I am today, and Glee gave me a lot of hope and acceptance and sort of gave me insight on myself and our society and the people around me. So as well as I think Glee also really helped me with music, sort of opening my eyes to several different types of genres that I would have never listened to if it weren't for this show. I also have my Glee live shirt, which I wear all the time because I love a shirt and I love the experience that I had gone to when I went to the Glee concert in 2011. So I will also be doing probably my favorite Glee songs of all time video. That one's going to be really difficult because there are so many songs and so many favorites of mine. It's just going to be a very difficult sifting through. So, but I remember the very first time I watched Glee. I remember it very clearly, actually. It was, and I believe it was on Hulu actually. Around that time they put the pilot on TV, like in the middle of the year, like May or something of 2009, I think, maybe. And that was it. And then they thought, okay, if it gets popular, they're going to air the full season in September in the fall or whatever. I only watched because Kevin McHale, who's Artie, was in a boy band called NLT, and I don't know how I crossed paths with that boy band either, because I wasn't really a boy band kind of person, like, at all, and at the time I was like, what's 6 years ago from now? I was like almost 16, and I don't know how I got into NLT, but I loved Kevin the most. He was the cutest. And then I found out they broke up, and then he was going to be on the show called Glee, which sounded really lame because I hated High School Musical and I wasn't a big musical person. I had seen Rent and Hairspray and stuff, but that was probably about it. Yeah, so I was a little like, oh, I don't know if this is for me, but I watched it and it was pretty good. I thought Don't Stop Believin' was awesome, and I just thought it had an interesting vibe to it. And I don't know if once they got the full season on television, if I watched it consecutively every single week. I really don't remember doing that. I might have watched them every once in a while, and then I got the first season on DVD, or I watched it online. I don't know how I eventually came to watch the whole thing. But then season 2 came around and buzz was coming around, like what's going to happen in season 2, and I found out the character Kurt, who I wasn't a huge fan of at the time, I don't know why, I didn't connect with him very well, was going to have a boyfriend. And around this time 90210 was also getting a gay character, and I was like, whoa, this is kind of cool, this is, you know, new stuff going on television and stuff, so they kind of just fell into each other's like place and kind of intertwined for me. Season 3 of 90210 was really awesome too. I remember doing recaps on them too. But Glee kind of just stood out more. It wasn't until the Grilled Cheeses episode where Kurt's dad Bert has a heart attack, and all the Glee Club members are trying to sort of help Kurt in his times by sort of, not necessarily I guess preaching their religion, but expressing their faith and how they deal with this kind of situation. And Kurt was not having it because he's an atheist, and aka this episode featured one of my favorite Finn solo, Losing My Religion. I love that song originally, so by R.E.M. And I was like really excited they were doing that song, but also a little mad because I'm like, oh no, they're gonna ruin the song. But no, they did it perfectly. And I guess I just wasn't a huge Glee fan in season 1. It didn't connect with me as much. But season 2 just kind of hit it out of the ballpark for me. And then from then I really loved Kurt. And then the next episode had Sam, who was supposed to be Kurt's boyfriend, but then they decided to keep him with Quinn. And eventually we met Blaine, and I didn't really know if I was sure about Blaine yet. It wasn't until like the Christmas episode where they did their very first duet, Baby It's Cold Outside, that I was obsessed with them, especially the Valentine's Day episode. I was like, oh my god, it's gonna happen, and then no, it didn't. And then Blame It on the Alcohol happened, and it was just a mess. And then eventually, Original Song, which is probably one of my favorite episodes ever. I remember that watching the episode very clearly, and I've said this story before. If you haven't watched all it, what is that? I have not used this Mac video thing in forever, so I'm like just staring at myself. But then I was babysitting, and I was like, Glee is on at this time. I am watching the show. Do not be bothering me. I'm sorry, but do not bother me. And I had no idea they were going to kiss. I had no idea this show was going to happen. I wasn't as heavily into spoilers, and I don't think there were as many spoilers back then, but I was so happy I was not spoiled, because that was just so... I screamed, and these kids were like, what the fuck is this girl doing up there? Like, and from then, the moment was just made. Blackbird was the revelation. Yes. You move me, Kurt. And from then, I was a big Klaine shipper, until around season 3, when it started to kind of go awry. But season 2 was amazing. I loved the Born This Way episode. I love Prom Queen. I love Rumors. I loved... Season 2 is my favorite season for various reasons. The songs were badass. The storyline was badass. There was a lot of Kurt. I kind of consider it the Kurt season. So I'm very happy for those precious moments and one-liners. Season 3 was awesome still. I mean, I still like the songs. I love Sebastian. I hated him at first, but I love Grant Gustin. I love the Flash that he's on now, and I'm just so happy for him. But my favorite Glee song ever is one of his songs, so you guys probably already know. I don't even know. If you do, let me know. If anybody still watches my videos, let me know. And season 4 was interesting. I think it had a lot of potential with the Finn stuff. I think he would have made the most amazing choir director and the most amazing teacher. What I really liked about Finn, and what I really liked about season 3, was the Saturday Night Fever Glee, stupidest episode, was the whole Santana, Mercedes, and Finn thing, trying to figure out what they're going to do after school and how they're going to like influence what they're going to do with their careers. And Santana was all about the fame and stuff, and Mercedes was really dreaming big, and Finn didn't know what he wanted to do. And that was kind of like me, and that still is me, and I really resonated with that, because just because you're getting out of high school doesn't mean you know exactly what you want to do. And even after high school, he still didn't know what he wanted to do. He was very lost, and then he eventually found his passion. And I really think if he was still around, if Corey was still around, and Finn was it, and the Finn storyline was able to continue, he would have been perfect. It would have been the most amazing thing. But I did really like season 4. The Klaine stuff was annoying, and I really liked Adam, who Kurt was kind of dating, sort of-ish. And I really liked the whole New York, Kurt, Rachel, Santana, Ruby's thing. I thought that was really wonderful. And then season 5 came around, and the 2 Beatles episodes were really great, song-wise. It was an interesting vibe, especially season 4. Like, their season openers are really interesting because they're so, like, amazing, and then the season kind of goes, meow, and, like, it's just a totally different kind of vibe. But I don't know, season 5 was good in its own right. I think the whole them switching to the New York situation was awesome. I love Adam Lambert. That stuff was really cool, but it just didn't feel like Glee. And I'm glad in season 6 they went back to their roots with the whole choir thing. And I think Rachel and Kurt as choir directors was cool for a while. It didn't make any damn sense. And the whole Rachel thing at season 5 at the end where was just a mess, so I'm just like trying to ignore her, forget about it. But I really liked how they went back to their roots, and while there was new people and they could all sing really wonderfully and they were all great, they weren't the main focus like they tried to push on season 4 with Marley and Jake and Ryder and Kitty and Unique. It didn't work, and I don't think anybody really liked it as much as the originals, and they were just kind of copycats of all the other characters. In the last season, they were their own people and their own stuff, and they were all awesome. They didn't get enough, I think, focus, but I think that was the point of season 6. Okay, and on to the finale, which I knew I was going to cry. I got my Ben & Jerry's, I got my tissues, I got it all ready to go. I took that day off. Well, I didn't. I I made sure I was not working at that time of the day for this 2 hours of crying. The 2009 episode was really amazing because I love seeing them going. I love when shows kind of reminisce, and I was glad they didn't just show clips. I have a hair tie. They weren't just showing clips, they reenacted those scenes. They were literally their characters again, and Rachel talked really fast, and Kurt was hella sassy, and Mercedes was hella sassy, and Tina and Artie were adorable, and I really never really liked them together. I was kind of hoping that Mike Chang and Tina would end up together, but I really liked them together in the end there. I think they kind of worked out. And it's just cool to see their backstories, why they auditioned for the Glee Club, how, like, some people you didn't see their auditions, like Artie's. So it was really cool to kind of go back to that and what happened, all their roots, and then Don't Stop Believin', they did the perfect thing. I've never been more satisfied with Glee in my life, but the way that they did that was perfect. They didn't reenact Don't Stop Believin', they didn't do it for the last song, which I always thought they were going to do. They just played the original song. And that had me bawling. Crying, not like bawling. And then the Dreams Come True episode was just a ball of mess of crying for me. I was just already on it like in 2 seconds. Oh, by the way, in 2009, the whole Popular duet was just perfect. The perfect way to send off Humbleberry. Unfortunately, Kurt never got a solo, and he hasn't had a solo since the end of season 5 around there. I think that Bash episode, I think. So that sucks. Oh wait, yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, because even when Chris wrote that other episode that he did, he kind of sung with, like, June Squibb and stuff. I don't think he had a I don't know. I have not really watched much of the end of season 5, like rewatching it, so I kind of lost my Glee mojo. But I really liked Mercedes' solo, both when she was in the choir at church, and then when she was, that was kind of random, but the one when she was saying goodbye to the Glee Club, oh, that's when I really started to cry. Like, that's when, I don't know why, just when she was walking out of the auditorium, I was like, oh no, here they go. And then Teach Your Children, and the whole, like, resurrecting the New Directions and making them a performing arts school was an incredible idea because it keeps the Glee Club going without, you know, just like 6 members. It's all these fresh faces and, you know, all this new generation of new artists to come. And I thought Kurt and Blaine's little thing was adorable, and then Rachel being their surrogate and ended up with Jesse, and I knew that was going to happen. I just always thought if Finn's not going to be there, and we all know that at the end of Glee, Finn was supposed to be and end up with Rachel, and they go back to Ohio where he teaches. And that was Ryan Murphy's original plan. But now that they cannot do that and they did something else, I think they did it just fine. And I think they did it really well. And I just, while I never really liked Jesse as a character, I think that he just works perfectly with Rachel if she cannot be with Finn. And I just really like the idea of her being their surrogate. That's just really cute. And they were all there when she won her Tony, and it was just, that was kind of cliche, but I thought that was still a perfect ending to Rachel Berry, and she sang This Time, act before they went to the 5 years in the future, which Darren Criss wrote, so that was really, really wonderful and a great way to end her solo reign. And I really liked Kurt and Blaine's because while I wasn't super on board of them getting married, I think it worked out for the better, and they were just like this dynamic duo of awesome, and they were just Harvey Elementary School. That was cute. I just thought it was the perfect ending to Kurt and Blaine singing as well because it's happy, it's cheerful, it's very gay, and it's beautiful, and I just thought the way that they did all those songs were just wonderfully done and a perfect way to send out the New Directions. And then I Lived was like the perfect ending to Glee, and I think what's one of Glee's strongest things is their like big group numbers at the end of each episode. They did that a lot with the season 4 and season 5 group of newbies and all them. They did that so well. I mean, they always did that, but I just think they did it well then, really well then. That's just kind of like a Glee tradition. And for them to do that as the last song in, almost everybody came back. I mean, there was a couple people that weren't there, like Melissa Benoist, who is going to be Supergirl. And I wish like Matt Bomer was on there, and Adam Lambert and Idina Menzel and all them, like the guest. But this is all about the New Directions themselves, and it was really, I never cried harder except for in the quarterback episode. I was so touched and so moved, and I cried every season finale, every series finale. I kid you, well, not every, but like a lot of series finales. And I knew this one was going to be even worse because this is one of my favorite shows that I've literally grew up with as a teenager and to adult. And it was just really hard to see it go. And it's really hard to imagine it's not going to be back at the next fall. And it's not going to be back ever. We're never going to hear any more new Glee songs unless they release some ones that were never released before. And I still support all the cast in their endeavors, even though I don't really follow that fandom very much. But I want to thank Glee for all that they've done and all the fandom, the good parts of the fandom with the fan fiction and the fan art, and the whole world, the whole fandom was just an amazing time for me for a few years while I was still heavily into it, and I've never been happier. And Glee made me happy. I felt loved, I felt accepted, I felt like I was part of where I should be. And even though it felt lame to others and it seemed stupid to like invest yourself in a fictional world and a fictional show with fictional people, I was happy and I loved it, and I loved reading fan fiction all the time and going on Tumblr and talking to all my friends that I didn't really know, but I loved it anyways, and it was wonderful. And it's time to move on, but Glee will never be forgotten, and it will always be a special place in my heart, especially like the Glee Live concert and season 2 and season 3 and all that whole time around then. And just, I will never forget it. I will never stop watching Glee, and I will never not love it, even though sometimes it made me so mad, like when Kurt didn't get into Niata that first time. Oh, I remember being so pissed. And then like Blaine cheating on Kurt and all this stuff, but there were so many more amazing moments to kind of shield that away and that negativity, and just remember what Glee stood for. Glee, by its definition, is opening yourself up to joy, and I truly believe that. So the show goes all over the place or something. But Glee, just thank you for everything you've done and everything you were trying to achieve and accomplish. And even though it was a little stereotypical and the writing never really made sense, it still did what its purpose was to do. And I'm very grateful for it. And there will never be a show like this on television where it changed society, it changed culture, it changed music, it changed everything for the game. And it will never be done. It could never. It's going down in history. So thank you, Glee cast and writers and production and all that. And thank you guys for watching my videos for the past 5 whatever years on Glee. And I'll talk to you guys someday.